Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United Transfer News Daily, where we talk about all the latest Manchester United transfer news and give it that real fan opinion. And we're going with a little bit of an Italian job today. Where's Michael Caine and those little minis? Because, although they remade it badly, didn't they? But not on purpose, but a lot of the players we're talking about are from the Italian region. As the title of the show says, Icardi or Griezmann, I really just want to answer that. I want you to answer that question. Get in the comments and tell me about it, because I know a lot of you will go, we've got no chance. We ain't got no chance. I'm back down with the Cockney Reds here. We ain't got no chance. Michael Caine again. She was only 16 years old. Well, I'll tell you what. Manchester United will definitely get linked to Icardi and Griezmann. So we may as well talk about it now before it does happen. Because I think sometimes it's not about what's in the papers. I think people get a bit fed up of what's in the papers. It's about thinking for ourselves as fans, because you can guarantee over 90% of what's in the papers won't be accurate anyway, and something will come from left field. And the interesting thing about Icardi and Griezmann is this. With regards to Icardi, you cannot argue with the striker who's got 111 goals in 187 games. And with Griezmann, you cannot argue with the striker who's got 94 goals in 180 games. Both playing in very, very interesting leagues for interesting teams. The Italian league is very tight, so well done to Icardi. You can have a badge. And Griezmann obviously playing in quite a defensive side with Atletico Madrid. So good stats there, but more interestingly, how does Manchester United fit in with that? Because, well, quite interestingly, Manchester United, Lukaku wants to go to Inter. Inter want Lukaku. They're offering up people like Perisic and his wheelchair. I presume we get that. But Icardi is a striker that they're going to replace Lukaku with. They're going to replace Lukaku with they're going to replace Icardi with Lukaku. So, hello, can we have Icardi? Would you want Icardi? The situation with Icardi at the moment is that Inter want to sell him. He said that he wants to stay. He's refuted talk that he's going to go to Juventus. So I think it's an interesting situation with Icardi, and I do understand that there's a lot of United fans who go, well, he's got an attitude, his agent is his wife, and it could cause all sorts of issues. But I think with a striker, they're there to score goals. That's his job. It's a very unique position, and you almost need a bit of an attitude. You almost need something about you. I mean, look at people like, I don't need to go through it, Cantona in the past. I mean, even, I can't stand the guy, but Luis Suarez, he's got something that, you know, Liverpool fans have decided they don't like him now, even though we all told everyone he was a bad un, but they stuck by him, they wore the T-shirts, and now they don't like him. He is a bad un, but I tell you what, if he plays for your team, he's got that little bit of extra in him, and I think with a striker, Icardi would be very, very interesting. Only just 26 years of age as well. Point to prove, Manchester United, what a club to come to. And as I said, I think he will leave Inter Milan. So we want him to leave Inter Milan as well, because it means Lukaku will go there. So I think United should be sort of saying, all right, you know, you can offer us these dead ringers like Perisic and everyone else, but what about Icardi, and does he fancy the move? I think it's very, very interesting. With Griezmann, look, Griezmann has made this really weird thing. I mean, look, he's done a few weird things. A year ago, he did a documentary called The Decision, where he was deciding whether he was going to go to Barcelona or Atletico Madrid, or stay at Atletico Madrid. I really thought he would go to Barcelona. He led them up the garden path and went back in the house at Atletico Madrid like he did to us a couple of years ago. This summer, he's come out a week ago and said, I will leave Atletico Madrid after 5 years. And the only way he can leave Atletico Madrid is if somebody plays his release clause, which is around £100 million. So he knows he's going, but then everyone presumes it's Barcelona. But there's a lot of things coming out from Barcelona, that the dressing room don't want him, that he's too expensive, the wages he wants, that the release clause is too expensive, that actually not many of the fans want him. And there's talk that Barcelona actually are not in for him. So where is Griezmann going? Because he's going to look really stupid if he says he's leaving and then he hasn't got a buyer. But maybe he is stupid. I personally don't really want Griezmann at United. I think Griezmann at United with Pogba would be it could be heaven, or it could be banter boys, best mates, messing about, not getting down and doing what needs to be done. I would hope it would go the other way, but because I don't necessarily think Pogba's going to go. But where would Griezmann go if he's not going to go to Barcelona? And you know Manchester United are going to be mentioned, and we will be mentioned. We'll be mentioned by Griezmann's agent because he wants Barcelona to bloody get us. I think it's a very interesting situation that Griezmann's come out and said that he's leaving, and I think it does mean that Manchester United may well be in this equation, whether you want us to be or not. The only other club I can think of is maybe PSG, but PSG have got Neymar and Mbappe, and I don't think either of those are going anywhere. So interesting how Griezmann's come out and said he's going if Barcelona don't go for him, and does that mean Manchester United are back in? And would we be stupid to go back in for him? I don't know. Hence the question, Icardi or Griezmann. For me, it would be Icardi. I think both of them are risky. I think both of them potentially are unlikely, but I definitely think that Manchester United will be mentioned in relation to these two players when they move this summer. And it would be interesting. I mean, look, Griezmann's going to cost you 100 million. Icardi's going to cost you 60 because he's only got 2 years left on his contract, and Inter want rid of him. I think there is manoeuvrability. I think there's an opportunity there for United with Icardi and Lukaku, and I would do it. But it's over to you. What would you do? Sticking in Italy, I'm going to swivel past Barella. I hope he didn't tackle me. He's a bit like Scholes apparently as a midfielder. We'll come back to Barella in a minute. I want to talk about Donnarumma. This is a player that excites me, and if you've been listening to the United stand over the last few weeks or even the last couple of years, you'll know I like Donnarumma. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. He's a young, talented keeper. He's about 6'5". He's only 20 now, and he's had a very good season for AC Milan. I think he's got clean sheets in half of his games, and AC Milan are not one of the better teams in Italy anymore. So he's a good, very good goalkeeper. He's got the talent to be one of the world's best goalkeepers. Ridiculously young, playing as a first choice goalkeeper for the last couple of years for AC Milan, who have been in, up and down like a roller coaster. So lots of experience there. I feel that obviously I'm talking about this as if David De Gea goes, which it doesn't look great with De Gea. And if De Gea goes, this lad is the player to go for, because he can be what we did with De Gea. When we got De Gea from Atletico Madrid, he was a young keeper with the potential to be one of the best in the world, and that's what he became. And Donnarumma is the same. And Donnarumma, coming to Manchester United, it would be that step up. It would be that younger player who's very talented, going to the next level. I like this link, and I really do like Donnarumma. So let's see what happens. Obviously, I want to keep De Gea, but if De Gea goes, then Donnarumma would be the goalkeeper that I would want as my number one, 100%, because he has got that ability to be one of the world's best goalkeepers. He has had a good couple of years at AC Milan. This would be the next step for him. Again, his contract's 2021, so it's interesting. I mean, I've just put £43 million there just because it was what was there for Partey yesterday, and I thought, actually, it might be a sign. I think that might be about right to get him. His agent's Mino Raiola, so again, there is that connection. Imagine if we do get De Ligt. We've done that before, though, haven't we? But look, I would like Donnarumma. I really would. Interestingly, we were linked to another goalkeeper who I must get the name out. Vlachodimos. Sounds like some sort of party. Vlachodimos. He's 25 and I think he plays for Benfica. He's got Benfica's number one goalkeeper. He's Greek. Manchester United have been linked with him. I don't know why. I don't really know anything about him. I think Silerson was a player that we were linked to, who is apparently going to go to Benfica. So I suppose that frees up that goalkeeper. But at the end of the day, if you haven't really heard much about a goalkeeper, it probably means they're not good enough for United, really. Well, I know that's a little bit unfair, because a lot of you probably won't have heard of Barella, who I'm going to talk about next. But, no, I think if De Gea goes, you've got to try and get the best goalkeeper you can. A lot of people would say Oblak would cost more than we get for De Gea because of his contract. And Donnarumma, a younger goalkeeper, fits everything that we've tried it with De Gea and it worked really well. I would do it again. And I think he would be a very, very, very good goalkeeper for Manchester United. Let's get to Barella then. So Barella would be a midfield option, centre midfielder for Cagliari. We were linked to him in January time. I think he's got a release clause of around £30 million. Look, if you don't know much about him, he's a midfielder in Italy. He's 22. He's been likened to sort of like a Paul Scholes. Look, I've not seen lots of him. I do watch Serie A, but I've not seen loads of this kid. What I would say is he's good on the ball. He likes a tackle and he can spray a pass around. Weaknesses would probably be his tackling. He likes to tackle, but he picks up a lot of yellow cards. And he's definitely a player that I was interested when United were linked to him. But if you look at the latest news with Barella, lots and lots of links with Italian clubs, Inter Milan and amongst others. So I think this could be one of those Italian players that we get linked to. It reminds me of Bernardeschi, and actually there's never really any chance of them leaving Italy, because actually a lot of Italian players don't actually leave Italy. I know that there are exceptions to that rule, but a lot of them don't. So I don't think that Barella would be a player that United are going to go for. But there is some news on the midfield, and obviously we were talking about Rabiot last night, but also with regards to Longstaff, there was a report, I think in the Manchester Evening News yesterday, saying that United's preferred option is not Longstaff, it's Declan Rice from West Ham, which I think a lot of us would be encouraged by, because Longstaff could go on and be a very, very good player, but we all know about Declan Rice. We know that he's potentially going to be one of England's future star midfielders, and if United could get hold of a player like that, whether he is or he isn't, I think it's the right sort of player for United to be going for. So we'll have to see what happens with Declan Rice and whether that really does materialise into anything, because, you know, who knows. But I mean, another player, I think he'll stay at Wolves, but I'm surprised that we've not been linked with Ruben Neves at all, because he seems to get, well, I think he's going to stay at Wolves, but I think he's 22 as well. He's Premier League proven. He can play CDM and centre midfield. He's been a revelation in the Premier League, and I think that he only ever gets linked to Liverpool, and I think, well, Liverpool have got a very good midfield already. They've got Fabinho, they've got Henderson, they've got Wijnaldum and Keita, amongst others. United's midfield is bereft of talent, really, and Ruben Neves would be, he'd just slot in straight away. You know, I miss Herrera, but Ruben Neves would be a superb replacement for Herrera, and I wonder why United are not on that. And I still, although a couple of weeks ago there was talk of George Mendes helping United out, I still don't believe that George Mendes' relationship with Manchester United is that good. And maybe I'm totally wrong on that, but I just don't see the evidence. Mourinho obviously wanted the Manchester United job, George Mendes' client. De Gea's been here a long time, but there's not really been any other George Mendes clients coming into Manchester United, of which there are plenty. So I don't know, but I think Ruben Neves would be a very interesting player for United. And I'm not, you know, whether he's going to leave Wolves or not, I don't know, but I'm sure Wolves would be tempted by 60 million quid, and he's worth that. He is worth that, 100%. So it's very interesting that we're not linked to Ruben Neves, because I think he would be a very good signing. But the midfield options are starting to stack up. We were talking last night, Idrissa Gueye being mentioned again. You can't argue with Idrissa Gueye's stats. I think he makes the most tackles in Europe, but he's actually the same age as Ander Herrera, so it makes you think, ugh. It's just exposing the mistake we made with Herrera, that we didn't want him to go, we just didn't pay him the wage, because Idrissa Gueye for Herrera, well, is that a step forward? I think he can do a good job, but we're going to pay for somebody, then somebody went out the door for free. So yeah, with regards to that, it's rather interesting, but the options are there for Manchester United, and I think it's a very interesting one. And what I would say is don't step away from this Icardi Griezmann thing. Get in the comments and tell me what you think about that. With regards to goalkeepers, we've not touched on this, but if De Gea goes, what's your realistic goalkeeper replacement? Would you really go with Romero? Henderson, I don't think's ready. He needs a year at Sheffield United. For me, it's got to be recruitment. You've got to recruit a goalkeeper. So Donnarumma would be mine. And in midfield, what are you thinking about that? Because Barella looks like that's off the table. So you're back talking about Partey, Rabiot, Declan Rice, etc. But I think that we've got to get two. So what two would you go with? For me, it would be, I'd still hold hope out for Ndombele. I think it's unlikely. Partey would be absolutely superb, and I would love to see an Ndidi come in, to be honest, someone like that, an Ndidi or a Declan Rice with Thomas Partey. I'd be very, very, very happy with that. I'm not going to lie, I would. I really, really would. Anyway, link in the video description for Football Index. It is Football Index Friday, so sign up. The link's in the video description. Remember, you've got to be over 18, and please do gamble responsibly. If you don't know how it works, I did explain it the other day, but then I didn't put the link in the video description. So effectively, how it works is it's the football stock market game where you can buy shares in real-life players. Prices will go up a lot in the summer because it's based on news in the transfer window. So you're going to see people like Paul Pogba, Antoine Griezmann, Icardi. Those prices are going to go up. So let me just chuck somebody in just to give you an example of this. Let's do De Ligt, because we like De Ligt. So Matthias De Ligt, his price will have shot up quite recently. If you look in the last month, it's gone up a bit in relation to transfer news, dropped back, and it's going to keep going up because he's going to go to Barcelona or Manchester United, isn't he? If you look at my portfolio at the moment, I've got some players that I keep because prices will go up on performance as well as going up on newsworthy stories. So there's a few people there like Ronaldo and De Bruyne that I just retain for next season, but most of my players are either young United players like Mason Greenwood, who's absolutely shot up, and I think I've got Tahith Chong as well, Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford. Maybe I should get rid of those. But I've also got the usual suspects: Tanguy Ndombele, Bruno Fernandes, Mauro Icardi, Steven Bergwijn, Koulibaly. So yeah, and I've got Icardi as well. So I've bought players that I know are going to move this summer, and I expect their price to go up. And as you can see, I'm in profit of 250 quid at the moment. Like I said, if you're going to do it, I would go in with a minimum of 20 quid so you can get enough shares in a player to make it worthwhile when their price goes up. So look, you could get yourself with 20 quid, you could get almost 20 shares in Ndombele or Mauro Icardi, and when they move this summer, their price is going to go up when all that news is going on. So link is in the video description for that. Let me get back to where I am so I can come back to you all. There we go. Link in the video description for Football Index. You've got to be over 18, and please do gamble responsibly. I've been doing it for about 6 months now, and I really do enjoy it. I mean, unlike a traditional bet where you put a 10 quid on and you lose it, with that, you can see if the price is dropping, you can sell those shares and put it into somebody else. So it's a bit, you know, if you like football or fancy football or FIFA Ultimate Team and stuff like that, it's a good little bit of a game that you can play. The link's in the video description. But get your comments in about everything we've discussed. Smash a like on the video, and I'll be back again tonight at 8 o'clock unless something happens today. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day.